Hey, here we are, Tuesday, November 13th, Sports Bit Betting Insight today. Paulie and Teddy, SBR Picks. All the betting news you need to know in less than 20 minutes. I'm at Real Sports Bet on Twitter. He's at Teddy_covers. Tomorrow, 9 Eastern, live stream poker tournament, $1,000 SBR Free Roll, the bounty. You get 5 personalities at SBR. You knock them out, you get the bounty. Youwager.eu. Log in, sign up, and win. Youwager.eu, where America bets. Got to sign up there and be a part, use the promo code and get in for that, the SBR Poker Tournament. You see the wanted posters up there as well. That is tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Tuesday means college football. Some vicious beats we'll get to in a second. We'll start with what happened last night. A bad bet and also a bad beat. If you had the Warriors-Clippers under, no Steph, 232 down to 225.5. Warriors losing overtime, fell 237. Durant and Green getting into it. Last shot, Green didn't pass it to Durant as they get beat. And that one, Clippers are feisty at home. Heat from 1 up to 2.5, lost, blown out at home by the Sixers. Detroit, Butler over 151 up to 154, no good. Likewise, Jacksonville State and Penn State over 141 up to 145, fell 137. And Denver, K-State over 135 to 139, 64-58 final. It was tight late. Those are all bad bets.
Yeah, well, I mean, when the game goes over in OT, and the total got bet down from 232 to 225.5. That's a bad bet. It's also a tough beat in that one. The extra session sent Golden State and LA over the total. What's wrong with Miami right now? The Miami Heat, 3 straight losses. They were bad last night. The Philly playing without Covington, obviously playing without Sark. Before Butler gets there, rotations out of sync. Didn't matter. 3rd straight loss for a Miami team that's not playing well. And last night was the circle the wagons game. When you get slapped around at home in a circle the wagons game, you take a bunch of money. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see the markets crash on the Miami Heat moving forward.
All right, and not that this was a big move, but check out Buffalo. They won at West Virginia, and they won at Southern Illinois last night. They are ranked. They won a game in the tournament last year. They returned a ton of guys from last year's team. Massenburg's a solid player at 40 against West Virginia. Keep an eye on mid-December. They go to Syracuse and Marquette. They won by 9 last night. Bad for the books. Utah, Memphis under 205.5 to 201.5. Suns, OKC over 210 up to 215. That was 118 to 101. Monday Night Football over 43.5 up to 45. 21-20 final. Play of the day winner. Eli, I don't know what he's doing. Snapping the ball with 17 seconds left. And the 49ers have 1 timeout. That was ridiculous. It gave the Niners a chance. Illinois, Chicago, Duquesne over 151 up to 154.5. That was 89-88.
Yeah, I mean, the Monday night game wasn't a disaster for the books by any stretch of the imagination. They took more San Fran money than New York Giants money. But total-wise, certainly with that late Giants touchdown to get them the victory, sends the game over the total, goes from a push / Niners and under to Giants and over. Hey, let's give Eli some credit. He got the job done with a game-winning drive, despite the fact that how many open receivers did he miss last night? I know he missed Beckham in the end zone multiple times. The one where Beckham was just waiting for the ball to come down, and got knocked away was on. And no, Eli, you're the one who's holding the Giants back. But Giants get the money, over gets the money. Not a great result when it comes to the over for the bookmakers here in Las Vegas and around the country.
Here we go. Tuesday, college football weekend recap. Bad beats. I love these people. I've never seen that before. Why would he do that? Talking about Brissett with LSU. It just happened with Todd Gurley. It was kind of a big story. LSU laying 13.5, led 24-3 in the 4th quarter. 2 late Arkansas touchdowns, and then Gurley part 2. He falls down twice. He falls down at the 7. And then they continue to run some plays when they're out. They can just take a knee. I don't understand what Orgeron was doing. Then they run. He falls down at the 1. Then they ran another play. And then he got tackled at the 1. And then the clock runs out. LSU wins by 7. I would have loved to have been in a sports book for that finish.
Yeah, and that was just flat out weird. Because it's one thing when Gurley gets specific instructions from the coach, get the first down, hit the ground. They gave the ball to Brissett 3 times.
Yep.
It wasn't like, okay, take a knee. I still don't understand what Orgeron was thinking. He didn't make comments that made sense to me after the ball game. The bottom line is LSU minus 13 when you're up 24-3 in the 4th, when you got 1st and goal in the closing seconds. That is a tough beat. Happened though. My condolences for LSU backers. That was a brutal one.
Brent Musburger told me 90% of the coaches are aware of the point spread. Could have been higher. I believe he said 90%. So he probably wanted to cover for the boosters as well. That's crazy. Bama opened 26 down to 22, won by 24. Bad landing spot. It's 21-0 at the half. Tua gets hurt. It's 24-0 late. Goal line stand by Miss State. Second and goal at the 4. 3 cracks at it, all on the ground. Miss State holds up. It finishes 24-0 in that one. UAB Southern Miss under 45.5 gets there because of overtime. UAB in the conference championship game. Georgia Auburn finished laying 13.5. Kirby Smart running a fake field goal with 3 minutes left. You might need that at some point, like down the road in the SEC title game. And then they pick up a flag late. Looks like Auburn was going to come in through the back door. That was a crazy finish. And a good job by Van Pelt and Stanford Steve breaking this one down with the footage. Florida International, Texas San Antonio under 47. 17-0 at the half and 31-0 with 4 minutes left. Touchdown. Backup quarterback for San Antonio throws a touchdown with 30 seconds left. 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, 3 in the final 4 minutes. Somehow that gets over. 42-7 final.
Sure, and let's talk about Bama, Mississippi State for a minute, because this one did open 26 and it did close 22. So you say that lands right in the middle? Yes and no. The 26s were gone, the 25s were gone, and it was basically 24 by Sunday night / Monday morning after the lines came open. So if you bet it very early on Mississippi State, you were able to cash. If you bet it well on Mississippi State, you were able to push. If you bet it well on Alabama, you were able to win. That never a good situation for the bookmakers. And you ain't kidding with that Florida International UTSA under that got crashed and burned in the last 4 minutes. You hate that when it's 31 points, there's 4 minutes left. You have a backup QB in the game, and it goes touchdown. And that under ticket, under tickets is what's made this hair all gray, Paulie. It's all under bets. And certainly another one there for FIU UTSA under bettors on Saturday.
All right. Read David Purdom, MGM, said they got middled on the game. The public was betting at 22, and at all the parlays with Bama at 22. Vodtech, Pittsburgh over, 51 up to 54.5, 52-22. Clemson, BC under, 58 down to 51.5, 27-7. Troy, pick up to 2.5, won by 14. Miami, Georgia Tech under, 55 down to 51, fell 48. Kansas, 12 down to 9.5, lost by 4. Akron, Eastern Michigan under, 44 down to 41.5. 27-7 final. Clemson, nasty defense. Held BC to 100 yards and Dillon to 36 rushing yards and 8 first downs.
Yeah, I actually had a BC plus 20 ticket in my pocket. Somehow got a push with that wager. It was not a right side. Clemson didn't play well, and I heard people talking about, Alabama's licking their chops. No. Clemson went and got a road win against a top 25 team and dominated them start to finish. Even though it wasn't their A++ game, Clemson looked pretty scary on Saturday night against BC. And certainly all of that under money, easy right side cash for anyone who bet it.
Maryland plus 3.5 down to 1. It fell 2 against Indiana. Oklahoma State over 76 up to 80. 48-47. That was bedlam. Kind of tough if you had Oklahoma State money line, too, as they go for 2 after missing the extra point before the last touchdown. ECU plus 13.5 down to 10.5, lost by 6. Charlotte Marshall under 44 down to 42, fell 43. Bama under 53.5 down to 50. Stanford and over from 22 to 24 in the total 59-61, beat Oregon State 48-17. Nebraska, Illinois over 68 up to 71.5. That flew over. Memphis from 14 to 17, won by 26. App State, Texas State 48 down to 45.5. 38-7 final. Louisiana Monroe 4.5 up to 7.5, won by 28. Ohio State's best offense was punting and pinning Michigan State as they kept turning it over. Under 52 down to 49, 26-6. Urban Meyer, the pain in the ass, rubs it in late when there was no need to. UNC and over 10.5 down to 7.5 and 55 up to 58.5. A late touchdown there, very important. 42-35. Duke wins, doesn't cover.
Yeah, Buckeyes punter wins the MVP award for that ball game. Special teams matter, and it's not something we talk about a lot on the show. It's something that I know many handicappers looking for edges. Were the yardage stats misleading? Well, they got better special teams. you're going to give up more yards on defense because you're pinning the other team back, and every time they drive, they've got to drive further. Little edges like that can and will add up. We got to talk about Oklahoma State. Anytime you have the dog and the coach goes for 2 at the end of the game, you're like, yes, winner, winner make it. Not that in this case it would have mattered with Oklahoma State catching, 18 in that ball game. But you love the aggressive dog. Gundy made the right call to go for the win there. Didn't play out for money line bettors for the Cowboys. But frankly, you got the choice. You're an Oklahoma State bettor. Should this game go into OT or should we try to win it right now? Any Oklahoma State bettor will tell you, let's try to win it right now. I don't know that we're getting any stops in OT either.
Bad bet. San Diego State, 18 up to 24. Lost the game outright at home against UNLV as they ended a 6-game losing streak. UCLA, Arizona State over 59 up to 65. No good. Notre Dame under 54 down to 51. Fell 54. That was with book out, though. Western Kentucky, Florida Atlantic over 55 up to 58.5. Fell 49. LSU over 47 up to 50. 24-17, as I mentioned. Vandy Old Miss over 61 up to 65. Fell 61. Georgia Auburn over 50 up to 52.5. No good. Utah Oregon under 56 down to 51. 32-25. Utah wins with the backup quarterback and running back. They got me on the side in total there. Georgia Southern Troy under 47 down to 44.5. 35-21. Iowa State 14.5 up to 17. Won by 14. Navy Central Florida over 63 up to 68. No good. Oklahoma 17.5 to 21.5. Lucky to win the game. Cincy 12 up to 16. Won by 12. Northwestern Iowa total. This was wild. Went from 46 to 42. Back up to 46. 14-10 final. Northwestern in the first ever Big Ten title game for them.
Yeah, and of course, a Wildcats team that did not win any of their non-conference games. Break up the Rebels. I watch it. I still don't believe what I saw, Paulie. When I saw UNLV out physical San Diego State in the fourth quarter of that ball game, generate big runs, get stops on defense. Of course, it's an Aztecs team that got everybody back. They got their starting quarterback back in the lineup. They got their lead rusher back in the lineup. All the money poured in on the Aztecs. UNLV with one of the more impressive wins of the Tony Sanchez era. We'll see if that's enough to save his job at the end of the season. And if you notice, when you were going through that list, Paulie, one total after the next, after the next, after the next. Bad for books. Talking about how to beat college football, how the wise guys beat college football this time of the year. A lot of it total related. And we certainly saw that in the betting action this past Saturday. Lots of winners for the wise guys when it came to these college football totals.
Big game breakdown, only 3 games in the NBA. This is at 4 o'clock Pacific on NBA TV. Charlotte on the road, 7.5 and 218.5 against Cleveland. The Cavs are 1-11. They've been, since they announced that Drew is going to be the coach and they worked out a contract, they at least been putting up a fight. Last 3 losses by a combined 12 points, and they blew that game last week when they led by 5 with 30 seconds at Orlando. The Hornets are in first place. Kemba off to a great start. Some numbers here. They're top 5 in offensive efficiency. The Cavs are near the bottom. Cavs are at the bottom, near the bottom in defense. Pace, Hornets 15th. Cavs 24th. No love, so it's just been a shit show for the Cavs. Remember, Tristan Thompson before the season said, we're the team to beat in the East. How's that going? So there's a great article in The Athletic that the veterans don't think this is a quote, Sexton doesn't know how to play basketball. Doesn't understand a pick and roll. Can't understand simple things. That's one thing. Corver said a handshake deal with management. If LeBron leaves, trade me. And they shook his hand, and then they reneged on that deal, so he's pissed off. Then you had J.R. Smith asking for a trade. And you also said the guys aren't listening to Larry Drew because he's the voice, not the coach, because even though they fired Lou, they hadn't promoted Drew yet, so they weren't listening to him. But now they finally worked that deal out. And also the report said the veterans don't get along with the younger guys. So the guys who were there with LeBron don't get along with some of the new guys either and some of the guys they brought in. So there's problems in the locker room. Add it all up, no love. They're 1-11.
Yeah, 1-11 and heading south. And I know they have played more competitive basketball of late. It's still a team that has absolutely no identity. Is this Colin Sexton's team? Colin Sexton's an elite talent. All right. And I know the veterans don't seem to like him very much, but it seems like all the veterans are on their way out. They didn't want to give J.R. Smith playing time. Larry Drew didn't. And that was one of the reasons why they forced Ty Lue out of the equation, because he was trying to give the veterans playing time so that they would be a competitive team as opposed to a rebuilding team. It's very clear right now, this is a rebuilding team. And Colin Sexton, I mean, I watched this guy go 3 on 5. Was it 3 on 5 last year at Marquette? And
Minnesota.
The guy's got heart. I'll say that much. Doesn't know how to run a pick and roll. Coach him up. But, I mean, Larry Drew's coaching history, not one of success. Worth noting with Cleveland, 5-1 against the spread on the highway. They've been better at covering the bigger numbers on the road. Just 1-5 ATS at the Q. The shorter numbers at home have been difficult for them. And it makes sense. They're losing every game by 8, 10, 12 points. On the road, you're catching 14. At home, you're catching 6 or 7. Hence the point spread record differential for Cleveland. Much worse at home than they've been on the highway.
That opened 6.5 in that one. Denver has 4 coming up at home against the Rockets, and 215.5 the total. Guess what? They got rid of Melo, and they had their best performance on offense of the season and were great in the first half as they were all over the Pacers. I don't know why they brought him in. Horrible move. So we'll see where he winds up now, wherever he goes. If someone takes him, downgrade their power rating. So any event, they get rid of him. Now, Denver got off to a 9-1 start. Now they've dropped 3 in a row. At Memphis, no big deal. But then they lost at home to the Nets, and they got Milwaukee on a back-to-back and still got beat, as the Bucks were bombs away from 3, and Lopez got them in that one. So we'll see how they respond with the Rockets. Rockets are 26th in pace, tied with the Nuggets. Offensive efficiency, the Rockets are near the bottom. The Nuggets are top 10. Defense, Nuggets are top 10, and the Rockets are 19th. Remember, they were top 10 in defense last year, so they're off to a slow start. And we'll see Harden look good against the Pacers, but now we'll see if this team takes off. They were not minus $9 to win the division before the season. You can find them $2.20 now at MGM properties.
Sure, and I'm not convinced that I want to buy the Rockets to do anything right now. And certainly when you're talking about the impact of Carmelo, who has made literally every team that he's been on since the Nuggets worse, since he's gotten there. I was surprised that a coaching staff and really a GM who in Daryl Morey, who's been someone who we respect, would make a move to pick up Melo. He's broken every locker room he's been in, and it doesn't look like necessarily he will play another game in a Houston Rockets uniform. But for Denver, the 3 straight losses, again, Milwaukee's good. All right. The Nets stole one, and then they had the Nets literally stole that game in the last 2 minutes. But now it's 3 straight losses for Denver. This isn't a team that expects to have a whole lot of losing streaks. And when you look at the Nuggets, everyone talks about the Joker, and Jokic gets center. Boy, I like this backcourt. Jamal Murray and Gary Harris. That's a duo that isn't quite getting the love that they deserve. I mean, it's a team that has no national media superstars, and teams like that tend to retain their value much longer than teams with James Harden and Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony, who get a lot of hype from the national media. Nuggets are bet on all the way this season, and off 3 straight losses against a team like this, well, I think you got an idea where we're going to go with play of the day for this one.
All right, I forgot what we had Thursday with the college, if you can help me out. Friday was a winner in the NFL with Jacksonville with the 3.5, as that got down to 3, but we gave it out on Friday's show. We had Boise State Fresno under, and we also had the Monday Night Football winner as well. So let's keep it going. And what do you want to take the Nuggets? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we're seeing a little bit of Houston money already this morning. The 4.5s, they've been bet down to 4. Total still sitting at 214.5. They're not doing much with the total, but we have seen some Rockets money. We've seen some consistent Rockets money of late. Good luck, guys. Good luck with betting Houston on a night-in, night-out basis. I know they went bombs away the other night and hit 23s and had their best offensive quarter of the season in the second quarter against Indiana. I'm not buying that happens twice in a row. I'm not buying that happens against a Nuggets team that is in circle the wagons mode. Betting number 504, the Denver Nuggets, -4. That's our play of the day.
All right, good show tomorrow. We got 2 games in the MAC. One of them's huge. Well, they're both good. But Buffalo 9-1, trying to make the MAC title game. They're dogs in Ohio. And we'll get to the Seahawks and Packers and Houston and Tulane. And all of a sudden, Memphis and SMU's a huge game. I know a guy at SMU 50-1 to win the AAC. they got a shot here if they went out and making the title game. Low Shack in the bag up next. Thanks for watching. All the betting news you need to know in less than 20 minutes. SBRpicks.com, Sportsbit, Paulie and Teddy. Talk to you tomorrow.